I wanted to touch on this topic because at some point I also believe that weight loss is just a math problem. Burn more calories than you eat, and the fat will melt away. The endless cycle of counting every calorie and obsessing over food labels. You know, calories in versus calories out, as if your body is some calculator. On a very basic level, this isn't entirely wrong. Energy balance is a real concept. But the entire foundation of calorie counting is flawed. The scientific truth is, a calorie is not a calorie, your metabolism is not linear, and fat loss is not just about eating less. A calorie is not a thing, it's a unit of heat energy. And to be specific, it's the amount of heat needed to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. So, when food is measured in calories, it's using a bomb calorimeter, which burns food in a sealed chamber to determine its heat potential. The first problem is your body is not a bomb calorimeter. It's not a closed system. It's a living, adaptive, dynamic organism. How your body extracts, absorbs, and uses energy from food depends on digestive efficiency, nutrient composition, hormonal response, gut microbiome, and your metabolic state. So even if two foods have the same calorie content, they are processed completely different. Let's compare. 200 calories of sugar, glucose or fructose, 200 calories of steak, protein and fat, and 200 calories of almonds, fat, fiber, micronutrients. They're equal in energy on paper, but what do they do to your body? Sugar spikes blood glucose, triggering insulin and promoting fat storage. Fructose, in fruit juice or soda, is metabolized in the liver, not muscle. Excess fructose leads to fat creation. Protein, let's say from steak, it triggers thermic effect of food, so up to 30% of calories are burned during digestion. It also increases satiety hormones and supports lean muscle, which raises basal metabolic rate. And when we look at almonds, they're digested slower, and the nutrients are not fully absorbed due to fiber binding. So the bottom line, calories are a measure of energy, but different foods have different hormonal consequences. Up to 30% of calories from nuts, seeds, and legumes pass undigested due to fiber and resistant starches. 20 to 30% of protein calories are burned just digesting it, 5 to 10% for carbs, 2 to 3% for fats, meaning a high protein diet increases metabolic burn without eating less. Ultra-processed foods, like white bread, are absorbed nearly 100%, while whole foods, like sweet potatoes, require more energy to break down. Another reason why calorie counting fails is the gut microbiome changes calorie extraction. Some gut microbes extract more energy from fiber, while others don't. So, while the label may say 1,800 calories, your hormones and organs interpret it very differently based on quality, not quantity. Now, let's look at calories out. This isn't just exercise. Your total energy expenditure includes basal metabolic rate, thermic effect of food, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and exercise. Here's why calorie counting fails. Your body adapts to how much you eat. When you cut calories, your metabolism slows down to conserve energy, a survival mechanism called adaptive thermogenesis. Studies show this clearly. A landmark study followed Biggest Loser contestants who lost weight through calorie restriction. Years later, their resting metabolic rate had dropped by 500 to 800 calories per day, and it remained suppressed years later, even after regaining the weight. Starvation studies show that cutting calories by 50% led to obsession with food, cold intolerance, depression, loss of libido, muscle breakdown, and even thyroid suppression. This means your body doesn't burn a fixed number of calories. It defends against starvation by adjusting metabolism down. Exercise doesn't burn much as you think. Plus, over-exercising raises cortisol, which increases belly fat storage. You can't outrun a bad diet. You can't out-cardio hormonal dysfunction. Weight gain and loss is primarily a hormonal issue. Let's look at the key players. Insulin stores fat. High insulin equals fat storage mode, keeps fat locked in. It's chronically elevated by carbs, sugars, and frequent eating. Leptin regulates satiety and energy balance. Leptin resistance leads to constant hunger, despite fat stores. It's triggered by seed oils, processed foods, and sleep deprivation. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone. It increases before meals and spikes during caloric restriction, promoting binging. Cortisol, the stress hormone. It's elevated by overtraining, poor sleep, or undereating. It increases your visceral fat. So even if your calorie count is correct, if your hormones are dysfunctional, your body will prioritize survival over fat loss. The calories myth is still alive because it's profitable. The calorie model keeps you chasing numbers instead of healing your metabolism. Calories matter, but not in the way you've been told. The truth is, you're not a machine. You don't burn food like gasoline. You're a living organism with hormonal systems shaped by millions of years of evolution. Calorie counting is an outdated oversimplification of human metabolism. So, stop obsessing over numbers and start focusing on what actually matters. Nourishing your body, balancing your hormones, and optimizing your metabolism. Your biology is your guide. Let me know your thoughts on this, and if I've missed something. I'm also planning on making a video on the right way to actually lose weight. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Make informed choices about your health. Try improving what you can, and make peace with what you can't. This is the natural way. Thanks for watching.